First of all, I would like to thank IPS, in particular Khalid Rahman Bhai, and you all who have come here to listen about the situation in Kashmir. I do not really need to tell you what is the latest situation in Kashmir, but the only thing I would like to take you to more than 20 years back. We had a conference in London. It was organized by a person who really need to be here today. But Allah has His own plan. It was organized by Dr. Ayub Thakur, may Allah bless his soul. And we had a special guest from here, from Pakistan. Unfortunately, he is not also with us. I mean Ambassador Riaz Khokar Sahab. One thing he told us, I do not know exact year, but I think it was maybe 2000 something in that neighborhood. He said, you mean the people who were there around him, just a small group of 4 or 5 people, and I was one of them. He said, you must go to Pakistan, if not every month, but every other month. The reason is the nation of Pakistan and the people of Pakistan, they are fully supportive of your cause. But maybe sometimes the media, they may not have facts, or if they have facts, they may have some compulsions, and you must go there. So I have mentioned it many times, but it is worth repeating that we really lost hope. On August 5th, 2019, we had really lost hope that only Allah knows what is going to happen, whether or not there is really light at the end of the tunnel. So we left it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He was quite watching, because I have full faith in this. It was none other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who was watching the helplessness and the hopelessness of those people who have given every single thing with the fullest possible consciousness. More than 100,000 people, more than 150,000 orphans, and whatnot. If there was no sanctity of the Kashmir cause, then why should a person no less important than the Antonio Guterres, the custodian of human rights, the Secretary General of United Nations, articulating nothing new but his principal position just 3 days later, on August 8, 2019, that Kashmir issue has to be resolved not only under UN Charter, but under applicable United Nations Security Council resolution. So we there in America, we said, no, we should not really lose hope. Because there is something which I don't know and we don't know, and there is something which Antonio Guterres knows. Because in the diplomatic language, he cannot tell India that you are telling lie. Kashmir is not the integral part of India, but this is the best way to convey the message that you cannot change the demography of Kashmir so soon. But what happened within the past 4 years, even that Secretary General, so practically he could not articulate that vision into some tangible strategy. And today when I am talking to you, I talked to an eyewitness just 1 month before I came here. He has just come from Kashmir. He said there is nothing left in Kashmir. Absolutely nothing left. We have been hearing about educational degradation. We have been hearing about cultural assassination. We have been hearing about military occupation. But now there is a totally different phenomenon there. I said, Doctor, what is that? He said, there is the phenomenon of de-Islamization. I'm sure you brothers here from Pakistan, you know that there was a saint who has given us this gift of Islam some 700 years ago. Mir Sayyid Ali Hamdani, we call him Amir Kabir. You cannot mention Amir Kabir in the text anymore. That phrase is gone. There was accession to India, although it is not in our favor, but at least there was a mention of that, no more in the textbooks. And what to talk about the UN resolution? In fact, the BJP has established 75 high schools, BJP within the past 1 year, just to pursue this art of de-Islamization. I'm really honored to be here in the think tank. Why I am saying so, I had a meeting with one of the most important senators in America, although he was a Jewish by faith, and I was talking to him about the situation, what is going on in Kashmir. And he said, let me think over it. Then while I was coming out, his chief of the staff, who also happened to be a Jew, by the way, they were from the state of Ohio. Ohio is one of the states, and his name was Senator Howard Metzenbaum. And his chief of the staff told me, you really try to convince the senator, he is almost convinced. But if you want him to do something, do me a favor. I said, what? He said, is there any report published by any think tank anywhere in the world what's going on in Kashmir? And secondly, if you can publish some article in one of the American newspapers. Again, Allah has his own plan. I had just bought 5,000 copies of a report published by Asia Watch, which is a part of Human Rights Watch, by Patty Gossman, by the way, who also happened to be a Jewish lady. And I had that report with me, but somehow I have forgotten it in my car. 5,000 copies I have bought that, and the title was Kashmir Under Siege. So I didn't tell him that I forgot in the car. I told him I am going to see you tomorrow. So meanwhile, there is the leading newspaper of Ohio. It is known as Cleveland Plain Dealer. So I wrote a piece and I submitted to them. So they told me that it is going to be published after 48 hours. So I called the chief of the staff. I said, I have some other engagement. Can I see you after 24 hours? After 48 hours? He said, no problem, because I was really waiting to get this piece. So I gave him this Kashmir Under Siege by Patty Gossman, a very important think tank, Human Rights Watch, because Asia Watch is a part of it. And I also gave him that my piece, which was published in Cleveland Plain Dealer. Within less than a week, he initiated the resolution in the United States Senate, calling for that the Kashmiri people should be the part of dialogue between India and Pakistan. So what I am saying that any tangible strategy I wanted to see on the streets of Washington, I could not do it. I could do it simply because there was a think tank of a very famous think tank in America, and I took the refuge of that, and I was able to change the mind of this American senator. So I don't need to tell you that in America, the think tanks, they get the information from media. As soon as they get the information from media, so it is our responsibility as Kashmiri American, for that matter, the friends of Kashmir. The reason I am saying this friend of Kashmir, because Kashmiris cannot do it alone. I am from Indian occupied Kashmir. I cannot do it alone. We have a large segment of Azad Kashmiri community in America. They cannot do it alone. So the strength we are really getting is the Pakistani American diaspora. So anytime we have to take any initiative, and we have to go back to these Pakistani Americans, and to tell you frankly, here you may have a difference that you belong to this party and that party and that party. In Washington, D.C., there is no party of Pakistani Americans when it comes to Kashmir. It is simply Kashmir. At one time, we had a campaign. The campaign, it was a simple campaign, to have a signature campaign. But I was told by the White House, not by the White House, directly by the State Department, if you have 10,000 signatures, we are going to submit it to the president. And again, I had Pakistani American associations, and I told him, can you cite it? And to tell you frankly, within less than a month, maybe 5 weeks, I got more than 25,000 signatures. When I took to the State Department, I have the photocopies of that. It were 4 or 5 boxes, but we were also 7, 8 people. They said, what is this? I said, this is something for the Assistant Secretary of State. He said, but I never asked you this. I asked you just 10,000. So what I am saying that the support we are getting from Pakistani Americans, it is tremendous. So there are few Pakistani Americans who are in some important think tanks, like Dr. Moeed Yusuf, who was the National Security Advisor. He was at a very important position in the United States Institute of Peace. He was, in fact, the Senior Vice President on Asian Affairs. And we have this in Atlantic Council, the brother, his name may come to me. By the way, his father or his brother, he was the chief of the army staff here. So he's heading the Asia division of this think tank. And in fact, I have been quoting the report of Atlantic Council. I think it was published after abrogation of Article 370-35A about Kashmir. It is one of the best report, just maybe 4 pages, but coming from Atlantic Council, and I have used it almost in every single meeting, whether it was in the United Nations or elsewhere. So my simple request to you, the people who are here, is this, that the people of Kashmir, they cannot do it alone. And we have simple suggestions. And it will be very difficult to disclose who told me that. They said that Kashmir is not dead. And the agency which told me that, it is one of the most important, crucial agency in the Security Council. They said we could not bring the resolution in the Security Council because there were some issues, but we can bring Kashmir back to the Human Rights Council. But you have to help me. I was not alone. We were 7, 8 of us, 4 from the Indian occupied Kashmir and 4 from the Azad Kashmir. So the suggestion made by that important member of the Security Council was that if you can help us, and you means me, you means you means everybody, to go to the African continent, just meet, because 12 members of African continent are the member of Human Rights Council. By the way, today when I am talking to you, 14 members of OIC are the member of Human Rights Council. He said, go there, sensitize them, just give me 3 names. Just give me 3 names who are willing to support us. Out of 47, there are 47 members of Human Rights Council. He said, I assure you, we are going to initiate the resolution. So my point is that I cannot do it alone. It has to be done by the Azad Kashmir, by the Azad Kashmiri government, the Azad Kashmiri diplomats, other Kashmiri parliamentarians, other Kashmiri academics. I don't think they will be able to do it unless they are really getting some guidance, unless they are really getting some support from Islamabad. So we have to do it together. The face has to be Kashmir. The face has to be Kashmir. But suppose if I land in Moscow, the only place I can go easily is a restaurant to have a cup of tea. So there has to be someone who can facilitate. And I submitted to very important people here that facilitation must not be by the Pakistan Embassy, but it must be by the Pakistan Embassy. Contradiction in terms, isn't it? Why? The Pakistan Embassy should identify the local contacts, and they have thousands of them who are Russian speaking, who are Russian natives. They should arrange our meeting with the think tank. They should arrange our meeting with the media and others. So that is one thing. And second thing is that I, as a person, there are many people here who are from Indian occupied Kashmir. I am not in principle for trade between India and Pakistan. In principle, I am not against the trade between India and Pakistan. But Amit Shah and Rajnath, they are on the record to have not said, they have accepted that yes, we were there on the streets of Pakistan and we are responsible for the killing of these 20 or 25 and we are going to go again. If this is the approach of government of India, and we are saying, sorry, whatever happened, happened, let us have the trade. And let me quote Sayyid Ali Gilani. He told me, and under the shade of Makkah, because he came for Hajj, Safi Sahib was there, and Quraish Sahib was there, and many others were there. He said, listen, because I was talking to him, because I had a message to tell you frankly, I had a message directly from the Prime Minister of India. His federal minister came to Washington, and he met me and Ambassador Yusuf Bush, who was advisor to the Secretary General, कि गिलानी साहब से बात करनी है जी. Then they gave us some points. तो मैंने कहा गिलानी, Dr. Ghulam Nabi Fai, he was also there, and Dr. Muhammad Akram Dar, they are the member of our board. This is what Gilani Sahab said. He said, I will be the last person to say that I don't want to talk to India. लेकिन उस साहब से मैंने उसको कहा एग्जैक्टली कौन साहब आए थे, नाम ही बताया, उससे सिर्फ ये कहे कि बात किस बात पर करनी है, सिंपल. फिर उसने मिसालें दे दी. उसने कहा जब इंडिया एंड पाकिस्तान दे टॉक टू ईच अदर, बल्कि जब वाजपेयी साहब ये वापस गए थे, उसने कहा मैंने तो कश्मीर की बात की, वो आज़ाद कश्मीर तो हमारा हिस्सा है ना. So you have not defined the parameters. For trade also you have to define the parameters. Is ultimate. We said the same thing to the Prime Minister yesterday. Most of us who were there, we told him that somehow you have a power to link the trade with the resolution of Kashmir. I'm not saying that you start the trade now and tomorrow is going to be a resolution, but you have to really link it to the resolution of Kashmir. And secondly, you do not need to be an Einstein. The trade and terrorism, Indian state-sponsored terrorism, it cannot go together. They have to stop it. But as Khalid Rahman Sahab, Balki, you said, Zahid Bhai, there are other friends here who are more knowledgeable. And to tell you frankly, like Muzammil, so he is directly in touch with the situation in Kashmir. He talks there, I don't talk. The last time I talked, if anybody was born then, it was 1980. So he has the latest information, I mean, through social media. So they have more information, inshallah, more update. So with that, obviously later on if there are going to be question and answer. But finally I will tell you, we are 2 million Kashmiri diaspora, 2 million. I mean Azad Kashmir, Indian occupied Kashmir. There are 2 million Kashmiri refugees in Pakistan according to UN. I have told it to everybody. We have to do whatever we want to do. But if you think we are going to do it without Pakistan, these are the words of Ambassador Yusuf Bush. You are living in utopian world. You cannot get the freedom with Pakistan, but you cannot think about getting the freedom without Pakistan. So never ever think that you can ignore or marginalize Pakistan. So Kashmiris, we have to redouble our efforts in Washington, in London and whatnot. Oh, I'm sorry, Zafar is also here, and I thought you are not here. He is our expert on social media. As I mentioned, Muzammil here, so they are in touch with the Kashmir. So what I am saying that the reason I am here, because we know that Pakistan is the party to the dispute, but more importantly, without Pakistan, Kashmiris cannot achieve their dream. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.